I'm not recording you, Pauline, just me. Okay, let's get started. Welcome to our practice, everybody. So we'll come up towards the tops of our mats. Close our eyes. I know I said we were going to start seated, but since we're already standing, maybe we'll start standing. Let's find our way into our nice mountain pose. Relaxing our shoulders, opening up the palms of our hands towards the front of the room, and reaching the fingertips towards the earth. So actively reaching down towards the earth, pressing down into both of our feet, closing our eyes, and taking a moment to notice how we're doing without judgment, just a noticing. How are you? Breathing freely and easily. Let's move through our flowing mountain. Inhale, reaching up for the sky. Exhaling, bringing our hands down to our hearts. A couple more flows, actually about 5 of those. If it feels okay for us today, drawing our thumbs together at the top of our movement. Making a big circle, if possible. If not, hands will come to heart. Connecting the earth up to the sun and back down. Warming up our shoulders. A couple more. On our next one, we'll start to move this into a flowing chair. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, just bending our knees just a little bit. Let's start easy and gentle. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, shift the hips back, bending our knees. If you wanted to add more of a bend, you can, but you don't have to. Moving peacefully and moving with kindness towards our bodies, especially if we are having any limitations or injuries today. In this moment. On our next one, turning it into a flowing aeroplane. So that's just a hinge at the hips and we dive our head forward halfway down. Inhale, back up. Exhale, hinge. A soft bend in our knees to protect our backs. Reaching up towards the sun, the moon, the stars at the top, and then the palms face down towards Mother Earth at the bottom. A few more breaths. Just reconnecting after all this time with our breathing, with the earth beneath our feet. A couple more. Let's reach all the way up, bring our hands to our heart, and then step our right foot back. So we're going to turn towards the long wall there. Turning our toes up towards the long edge of your mat and some space between our feet to move through moonflowers. If it doesn't feel comfortable facing the wall, you can always turn around towards me. Big breath up. We'll reach our arms to sky and then bend our elbows, bend our knees, shift back like you're sitting on a bench. Breathe in, reach back up. Breathe out, shift those hips back. Keep the core strong. So about 10 of those moonflowers at your own perfect pace. Letting go of all competition today. Any feelings of judgment towards our bodies with the thoughts in our head. Let that go. One more moonflower. And we'll step back up to the tops of our mats, facing the front. Big breath up. Let's grab a hold of that right wrist and do a little tip over to the left, anchoring into both of our feet. So if anybody wants to get crazy with balance, you could touch your toes to the back of your heel or mountain feet, nice and strong and stable. And we'll release on an exhale. Inhale, sweep back up. Grab the wrist and exhale, tip over. So we're here, or again, foot touching the back. And let's release. Roll those shoulders around a few times. So we're going to make our way down onto the mat. Big breath up. Exhale, forward fold. You can have a big bend in your knee. That's fine. Now let's bend our knees and come down to all fours. If anyone would like a knee pad, please just raise your hand. I can bring you one. So there's some space between our knees. Space between our fingers. So they're like some, we're actually pressing down into the fingertips, not just our wrists. But if you are taking care of your wrists today, you could have a block or 2 blocks underneath your forearm, and you just let your wrist rest. Feel the strength of our core come in to support our spine here as we press the earth away and move into cat pose, tucking our tailbone, looking back at our knees. We're separating our shoulder blades a little bit, and we're drawing our belly button up towards our spine. And the opposite of that, our cow pose. So the belly goes towards the mat, and now the chest opens up. And let's just look right in front of us so we don't crane our necks at all. Exhale, push into cat pose. Inhale, open up into cow. All on your own with your breath. Honoring your spine, one vertebrae at a time. Couple more. Amazing job. Let's take ourselves back to child's pose, a nice safe spot to go to. Great to calm the nervous system. If you want to bring your head to your mat and give it a little massage, you can. Or we can let our head rest on our fists. If our head doesn't want to come to the mat today, we'll stack our fists and place our forehead on our fists so that we can let our neck muscles relax. Letting go of any expectation today that you might have set on yourself, your day, me. Let that go. This is a pose that is here for you at any time during your practice to restore, to reset, to relax in. Bringing our hands forward and looking at our hands if they're not under our chins. Shifting forward into a kneeling plank. So let's shift our weight forward so that our core catches us from falling down towards the mat. Right back to child's pose, breathe out. Inhale, shift forward again. And take a moment to notice the elbows. So you want your creases of your elbows to be slightly forward, facing up towards me. And back we go. But remember, we've got a couple more of those, all on your own, inhaling forward, exhaling back. It's not about what our poses look like. We want to modify these poses to fit our bodies, not modify our bodies to fit the poses. Last one, you're going to hold in your kneeling plank and then slowly lower down onto your bellies. Take your time. Let's unweight our hands today and do a Cobra pose just with the strength of our back. Draw the shoulders down from the ears and lift up the chest just a little. Back down to the belly. A couple more. Inhale, lifting. It's not about height. Exhale, relax. Let's do 2 more to make it 4. And now if you wanted to, you can add the press into Mother Earth to lift up a little bit. We'll keep our elbows bent, elbows in towards rib cage, and then exhale back down. Let's do a few more of those, either with or without the press. And remember, it might have been a while since we've done yoga, so be nice to that back, especially in this first practice. Last one. Back to our bellies. Now, as we press the earth away, we're lifting our hips and our chest at the same time. Back to child's pose, breathe out. I do have some towels here that I bought if anyone wants a towel. I've had to use that for my sweaty self the last couple of days. If you need one, let me know. All right, let's put it all together or rest. Inhale, come forward, kneeling plank, exhale to the belly. Inhale, open up into our cobra. Exhale, back down to our bellies. Inhale, press Mother Earth away and sit back to child's pose. Resting or flowing. Inhale forward. Exhale down. Inhale, open. Exhaling back down. Inhale, press the earth away, slide it back to child's pose. And now you can do that on your own or take a rest in child's pose. Whatever feels good for you. Flowing or resting, restoring or moving. And we'll meet in our child's pose. Gazing up between our hands. Let's come up back to all fours. To move through spinal balance, reaching your right arm forward and your left foot back. Turning the toes so they face down towards your mat and you're reaching your heel for the back of the room. Breathing. Down to all fours. We'll do the other side, so opposite hand and foot for 3 breaths. Feel the length. If it feels too intense, then put your hands or foot down on the mat. Back down and let's flow. So if your right arm goes forward, your left foot goes back. Exhale to 4s. Another side, all on your own. Move at your own pace. Wonderful. All right, so we come back to all fours. Now, if it feels okay, you can take a seat or sit back on your hips. So if this doesn't feel nice for your knees, then just take it like so, because we're just going to do a little bit of wrist rotations because it's been a while since we've been putting all of our body weight on our wrists. Let's tuck our thumbs in, make some movements. One way and then the other. Nice strong core, nice big beautiful posture. So this is a fun one. Clasp the hands together and start to make some rotations that way. So your full palm is together. Now just take a look. Which way are you going? Which hand is pushing? Notice. And then try to go the other way. It is like, you know, difficult for your brain to like wrap around. I know for my brain anyway, to just wrap that around that. Okay, so good. Let's make our way. Well, let's go up. So the hands will come under us. We'll go into do a 1 sun salutation. So let's come up, walk our feet up. Actually, half a sun salutation. Back up, breathe in. Well, I'll give you the option, right? We can always have an option to flow down onto the mat, down to mountain. All right, come up to the tops of your mat. If you need to adjust, have a drink of water, anything you need, do for yourself, feel good about it. Big breath up. Exhale into airplane, so halfway down. Back up, breathe in. You can do airplane again or go all the way to your fold. Halfway lift, hands come to our shins. We roll the shoulders away from the ears. We've got a nice strong back. And then folding again. Bending our knees, taking our left foot back. And either going into a full lunge or dropping your knee down and doing a kneeling lunge. So you can stay in this lunge. If you don't want to come down onto the mat with me today, stay right where you are and strengthen your legs. Or now we'll go to down dog or child's pose. You can stay in down dog or child's pose. Or again, you've got that lunge option. Or let's move into a kneeling plank. Breathe in. Down to the bellies, breathe out. Unless you want to hold that plank, right? It's all about options. Inhale, cobra. Back down to your bellies. Let's press the earth away. Child's pose or down dog. Looking up between our hands, we'll bring our right foot up between them. So take your time. You might grab that foot behind the ankle and kind of walk it up on its own. There's no rush. Full or kneeling lunge. Amazing work. And then forward fold. Take your time, tuck your back toes onto the earth to push and anchor through the front. Monkey pose, breathe in. Fold again, breathe out. Sweep up, breathe in. Exhale to chair pose, breathe out. Inhale, back up. Exhale to mountain. Sun salutation, check it off your list. Ching. Let's do one more though to even out our legs. Although without Pauline here in person, I've forgotten which leg we did. She usually helps me out. Big breath up. Yeah, Pauline's on Zoom. Airplane. Back up, breathe in. And then we fold, exhale. Halfway lift. Use the strength of your back to lift you up. And then let it relax as you fold again. Bending our knees. Let's take our left foot back. Full or kneeling lunge. Really slowly use your in-breath to come up. You can stay here in your lunge, get strong through your legs, or move to down dog or child's pose. So downward dog or child's pose. You can stay there and rest and restore, or let's flow. Inhale, full or kneeling plank. Resting or flowing to the belly. Cobra, our elbows are in towards our rib cage. We shine the heart back to our bellies. Inhale, lift it up and down to child's pose or down dog. Let's bring our left foot up between the hands. Rise up into your lunge. Lunge, feel your core lift you up. And then we'll frame our front foot and push to forward fold. Anchor through that front leg. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, fold again. Space between our feet, just check in, make sure you've got that foundation. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale to chair. Inhale, back up. Exhale to mountain pose. All right, time to move on to the strength portion of our class. If you need a towel, there's a couple up there. Promise it'll cool down in the winter. Okay, so let's move on to strength, and we're going to do a few variations on chair and bear pose, which I'm obsessed with right now. Bear, strong legs for a bear. All right, so chair pose though first. So let's find some space between our feet and then shift those hips back. So you don't have to go down really far. You could have just a micro bend in your knees and shift the hips back. Let's press into our toes, our heels, equally through both of our feet. And then imagine drawing the instep up just a little bit. Breathe. Our strong, strong core. And we'll fold to let it relax a little. Stretch the backs of the legs, strengthening the front. Halfway lift, so hands come towards our shins. We're just coming halfway up, inhaling. Exhaling to chair pose, bending your knees again. So you can stay in your chair pose, or I'll show you bear pose. The belly comes right to rest on your thighs and the arms reach long. that does not feel nice for your back, put your hands on the floor or your knees. Bear pose. And then forward fold, exhale. Just let the head hang now. Again, you can straighten your legs out a little bit. We'll inhale to monkey pose, so halfway lift. Exhale to chair. Strengthening up our ankles. Shifting our weight now, lifting our heels if that feels okay. Shaking is a normal part of yoga practice. Heels go down, lift the toe, actually just wiggle those toes. Holy quadriceps, okay, straighten them out. Oh, give them a little bit of love, a little shake. Good. All right, so let's move on to a little more, want a little towel? That little purple, those purple guys up top there. This color. Yeah. Yes. And if you wanted to get your own, I know some of you have these already. They're sticky on one side. And I got them at the dollar store for $4. Well, the West End dollar store, Market Mall. And they're really good when it's hot. Okay. Yeah. Hot yoga, girls. Better than cold yoga. All right, so let's move on. We've got our chair pose. Now let's just refresh our memories with our warriors, taking our right foot forward and lunging our left foot back. So you don't have to go too far. We're gonna do a short stance warrior one first, just to remember. Heel goes down. And you're having a bend in our knee. If you want a little more space, you can. Our hands can be at our heart. So if you're taking care of that back knee, short stance is the way to go. Or instead of turning your toe out, you turn it in a little bit, or you even lift your heel so that you don't tweak this knee at all. Okay, warrior one. Let's reach our arms up if that feels okay. If not, honor the body, bring them back to the heart. Breathe. Pressing equally into both of our feet, noticing the earth beneath our body. Let's bring our hands back behind us and open up into chest expansion. And if you'd like to, bowing into humble warrior. Breathe. Rising back up, inhaling. We're going to straighten out that leg. I know we've got a lot of love in our quadricep today. So let's bring our hands to our hips and walk this back foot in about a foot. And then turn the heel. So both of our toes are now pointing towards the short edge of our mats. For pyramid, this is your break for your quad. So now we reach those hips back. Whilst the head is, it's almost like you're gazing over the edge of a cliff, but right, you want to be anchored into the earth so that you don't fall forward. You can stay here, feel and enjoy the stretch down the front or down the back of your front leg, or bring hands towards shins, never on the knee, or bring your hands towards the mat for pyramid pose. So if you had a block, you could use that in front of you here. Amazing. Right, so in our pyramid pose, our hips are relatively squared up towards the mat. All right, engage the core before you lift up. Then we lift up that belly again. Now we'll turn that toe back out, walk it back a little bit. And then we bend our front knee. Now we're in our warrior two. Breathe, soften the shoulders, closing our eyes. Feeling the strength of our legs. Noticing the warmth of the sun. How amazing. Giving us everything we need, the sun. Let's turning our palm up and we'll reach up into reverse warrior. So still bending our front knee if possible. You can gaze up again, up towards the sun, or look down towards the earth, your back heel. Opening up our arms like wings now, straightening out our front leg, reaching our front arm forward. Now we go into triangle. Maybe you've got a block underneath your hand, or maybe you've got the back of your front hand gently resting on the inside of your shin or calf muscle. No balancing half moon for us today, maybe next week. Let's rise up, bend our knee, look up towards our front foot, lift our back heel, and shift to forward folds. Exhale. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale to chair pose. Now we'll inhale all the way up. Exhale to our regular mountain pose. And we'll just, well, I don't want to say warm up, but we'll warm up those muscles a little more with a little flow in between our holds. Big breath. Aeroplane halfway down. Back up, breathe in. Now one chair pose, exhale. Back up, breathe in. One aeroplane, and that's our flow. One aeroplane and one chair flowing through. Close your eyes or take a rest. So we move through this a few more times. If you do two of a chair, two of an airplane, no big deal. Last one, we'll meet up in our mountain pose, nice and strong. We'll do the other side, bringing your left foot forward this time, or whichever side you didn't do, and bring the back foot back a little. Short stance first. It's easier to get into pyramid from warrior one with a short stance than it is warrior one with our long stance. Just bending our knees, knee, and we have ourselves in our warrior one, sinking into the earth, pressing into both of our feet, closing our eyes if it's okay. Using your breath as a way to anchor. If you feel things spinning or out of control in your life, a nice anchor is to come to your breath. Let's bring our hands back behind us. Take a big, beautiful breath in. Really expand as we increase our lung capacity in these big open poses. And if it feels okay, bowing down into humble warrior. If the mind wanders, that's okay. Bring it back. Just notice it wandered. Back up, breathe in. Now we'll bring our hands to our hips, lift our back heel, and draw this foot in just a little so that you're able to place both of your heels on the mat with our toes kind of facing up towards the short edge of our mat. Moving into our pyramid pose. So hinge forward. A little bend in our front knee, so we don't want to hyperextend. You can stay right here, hips reach back, right? We don't want to fall over the edge of this cliff. Or add your block in or hands towards the mat. Reminding ourselves it's your practice. Do what feels right for you in this moment. Let's engage the core before we come up so it's nice and strong, lifts us back up. Now we'll turn those toes out towards the long edge of your mat and walk it back a little. Bending our front left knee, opening our chest up to face the long wall into warrior two, palms facing down towards the earth. Breathe. If it feels okay, you can gaze down your front hand or close your eyes. Feel the shoulders melt and the neck lengthen. Breathe. Opening our palms now so they face the front, or not the front, the long door, wall, whatever that is over there, that big white thing. Straightening our leg, triangle pose, reaching that arm forward first, or hand, and then hinging down. Honoring our shoulders, if we're taking care of it, by tucking it behind us, that arm. If we are having our hand open, the palm is facing, again, that long wall, so the chest remains open. Breathe. All right, let's rise back up. Look at our front foot, lift the back heel, and push to forward folds. Exhale. Halfway lift, inhale. Fold again, exhale. All the way up this time, inhale. And we'll bring our hands down to our sides. All right, time for one standing balance pose, and then we'll hit the mats. So adjusting, grabbing water. All right, so let's do tree. Let's get reacquainted with our tree, right? The tree can remind us how nice it is and how beautiful it is to let go, right? Let go of your leaves and to make room for new ones, for new growth. Let's draw that heel towards the body, draw it in. So just check in. So when you put that toe out, if when you turned your heel, you turned your body. So we don't want to turn the body. We turned our heel, we just turned our heel. Bring it in. And you could have your foot either on your floor, of course, soft knee, or somewhere along our leg. Just try to stay away from your knee so that, right, our knee shouldn't go side to side. It should go forward and back. So you can stay here, root down into Mother Earth, and reach to the sun. So while we're rooting down, we're reaching. Listening to our body. If we want a little more balance, you could put your arms out nice and long, or just root down into your other foot at the same time. Let's draw that knee around to the front, lift it up, flex our foot. Let's take our hands out for balance first before we make our way into pigeon. So this foot now will come across above the kneecap, and then we bend that knee. Hello, pigeon. Bird going down, I think. All right, nice and strong. So let's keep this foot flexed. So that engages your ligaments of your knee to keep it strong. Pigeon, and lift up. Let's do that all on the other side, and then I promise we're down on the mat. Left foot goes out. We soften up our right knee, heel comes in. Woo. And then you choose your tree on this side. So if you're working towards bringing your foot up, you could always put a block underneath it or even have a chair for your practice. All right, let's grow, but root, right? Strong, but flexible. Breathe. The knee comes around. We lift it up, or we take a little break. So this is really strengthening your hip flexors. Flexing our foot and bringing it across, or on the ground. Sit back. So if you need a little help with our balance today, it's sometimes can help in some circumstances to find a spot to focus your gaze. It's called your drishti, about 6 feet or 2 meters in front of you, and then look right through it. And we'll come back up. Okay, girls, how does that feel? I think we're ready to hit the mat. Let's take a breath and dive to fold. Halfway lift, inhale. Fold one more time. Now we'll bend our knees and come down to all fours. If anyone needs a set of knee pads, let me know. I can bring those around. All right, let's take a little break. Actually, let's go on to our backside. Crisscross. If you want to grab a drink, you can. And we're going to adjust the angle for our Zoom people and eventually our Facebook family. Okay, so you can either be in your crisscross position or legs out straight. I've been trying to drink one of these a day. It's a lot. I haven't finished it yet. I'm getting close. Okay. I was going to tell you something funny, but who knows? Okay, feet go forward. Let's do a forward fold. Big breath up and reach the chest forward. Hinge at the hips. Hands come towards the floor. They don't have to reach towards your toes if you don't want them to. Focusing on lengthening our spines and hinging. Once we find that little point of resistance, you could always let your head go down if you want to, or you can keep your gaze maybe between your feet for a nice long neck. Breathe. Feel. Listen to your bodies. And we'll draw those hands, walk them up our legs for a twist. A few additions to our, well, one nice big addition. If you've been online with me, you're familiar with Heron Pose. If not, then you're about to get familiar with it. Bend our knee, bring it in. So our options are to do the twist that we normally do, which is the foot can be on the inside or the outside of our knee, whatever works for how you're feeling, right? And then we lengthen always. And our front hand can come around the knee. We keep our belly button kind of facing forward and twist above it. Your back hand can be used to push into the earth to lengthen the spine again. So we'll bring our chin back around so it looks up at me. And I'll show you Heron Pose. Foot goes to hand. Hand goes back. If you have short legs, long arms like me, this one is accessible. If you have nice long legs, this one's a bit harder. And if it doesn't feel good, put that foot back down and use your regular twist. Bringing our chin around, our chest around. And we'll do a single leg forward fold now. This foot's going to come in. We're drawing it in, sitting up nice and tall. You're taking care of your knees. You'd put a little block underneath your leg. If anyone needs a block, let me know. We're good. All right. I'm going to use it today. Let's turn our front toes up. Our chest will go kind of towards this front leg, and then we'll hinge this way. Other options for your block can be for your forehead, or 2 blocks. Wherever we are, breathing. Breathing is half the practice. Some would say it could even be the whole practice, breathing. Awareness. Let's walk that hand or those hands back up our leg. We'll help our knee in, extend this leg, draw the opposite knee in. And we'll do our twist on the other side. Let's turn our toe up and choose our foot to be here or here. Totally up to you. Then we're up tall. Maybe you might need to make some room for your sit bones to anchor down. And then you can hold your knee or hook the elbow to the outside of it or hug it. So do what feels good for your back. We've got a hand, a hook, a hug, or a heron. Haha. 4-H words. We're here or our twist. Chin comes around, our chest comes around. We're getting down towards one last pose up here, and then we'll make our way down onto the mat. So single leg forward fold, let that knee hang out here. We're stretching out our inner thigh. We'll take a breath in and lengthen. You can reach if you want to, and then exhale, come forward. You might notice more of a bend on one side, and that's normal. You're not alone. Walking our hands up. Let's use that hand to help our knee in. And then both of our knees will come in. We're going to make sure you have some space behind you to roll back. And then we will roll right back, drawing our knees into chest. Take a little rock side to side. So for anyone that's familiar with Happy Baby, you can turn this into a rocking Happy Baby. There'd be some more space between the knees. And the soles of the feet would kind of face the sky. And now you can rock in your Happy Baby. You can go right from one knee all the way over to the other knee if that feels okay. Amazing. So we'll meet in the center, draw those knees together again, and then place the soles of the feet down on the earth and walk them apart about that hip distance again, those two fists. Press the feet into the earth to slowly lift the hips up off the earth and make our way into our bridge pose. Now, options here or modifications are to put your block or your bolster underneath your lower back or to keep your back grounded. Breathe. There's no weight in our head. We could easily move our head side to side. Shoulder blades are supporting us as well as both of our feet. Slowly lowering our hips down to the earth again, our backside. Let's draw our right knee in towards the chest to stretch our back, and either choose here to keep that left or the opposite foot on the mat or extend it long, extend the leg long onto the mat. If the low back lifts up in that position, then you'll want to put the sole of the foot back down just to honor that, the back. Start to feel a little bit of relaxation spreading through your face. So you relax your facial muscles. And then we'll all extend that leg now before we move into our spinal twist. So that knee that you have hugged in is now going to go across the body in the opposite direction. You'll feel your spine stretching and lubricating and moving. And we'll anchor our wings onto the earth. And if it feels okay, look back down that back hand. If you're taking care of your neck though, you'll keep your chin in line with your chest. An overall softening. All right, nice and strong as you come back. Extend that knee that was in the chest now. It's going to go either to floor to mat or extended, drawing the opposite knee in for a back stretch. You can stay here, or like I said, if it's okay with your low back, you'll reach that other leg long. Closing our eyes if it feels okay for us, and really bringing our awareness within to our breath, maybe our heartbeat. And then everyone extending that leg if it's not already extended, and then draw the knee across for our spinal twist. You could anchor a block underneath your knee if that felt okay. So we're anchoring through our shoulder blades. Feeling our chest widen and expand. Finally, drawing both of our knees into chest. Let's take a little rock side to side. So if there are any other poses that you'd like to add to your practice today, you can before we settle into our Shavasana, which can consist of straightening our legs and resting them long. Maybe you want to bolster underneath your knees. Perhaps you keep the knees bent. Walk the feet out to the edges of the mat and then let the knees drop back towards each other. And opening up through our low back a little bit. So making those adjustments. If anyone would care for an eye cover, you can raise your hand and I'll bring one and place it next to the right side or the left side of your mat. Take a moment to get settled, make those adjustments that you need to. To block out the sun a little. So settling into the support of the earth, the amazing earth. Beneath your body today in your practice, beneath your feet during your day-to-day life. Something to anchor to hold you. A feeling of healing and relaxation beginning to spread into the lower part of your body, into the soles of your feet, your ankles, our shins, our calves, our knees. The lower part of our legs full of relaxation, perhaps assigning it a color. With each breath in, that color getting brighter. With each breath out, going back to regular. That feeling now spreading up into the strong muscles of our legs, our thighs, our hamstrings. As we breathe in, just feeling that color get brighter as it fills up that part of our body, our whole lower body. On an exhale, letting the lower body melt down into the earth, releasing all tension. That feeling of healing of relaxation spreading into our bellies, circling around our backs, our rib cage, our shoulder blades, our collarbones, our whole torso. As we breathe in, that color brightening. As we exhale, relaxing. Noticing our arms and how they're connecting down into the earth. A feeling of relaxation, healing, maybe heaviness in the arms. Filling up our entire body with that color if we've assigned it to our healing. Moving up into our neck, our throat. We can swallow easily. Maybe we've got our chin tucked a little to lengthen out the back of the neck. The back of our head being supported by Mother Earth. That feeling moving into our foreheads as we relax our eyebrows. Our nostrils, our eyeballs, free of tension. Moving into our cheeks, our jaws, some space between our teeth. That feeling of healing and relaxation in our entire body now. With each breath in, allowing more and more in. With each breath out, letting go of any last bits of tension in our bodies today. A little noticing again of maybe the outside sounds of the room. We'll open up our hands if they're closed, make some movements to our fingers, noticing our hands with gratitude. Our wrists, making some small movements there. They've worked hard for our practice today. Our ankles, our toes, all those little joints of our body, just awakening them again, ready to support you today on your journey. Let's move our head side to side, get the neck ready to carry your head around. If your knees are bent or if you want to bend them, then you can move your knees side to side, kind of wake up your hips and your lower back. When you're ready, rolling right over onto one side, take your time as you get there. No rush. Add in anything you want to here. We'll make our way to an easy seated position on or off our bolsters. Sitting on a bolster can be really nice for your hips, or even a block if you wanted to. This block might be a bit small for me. Let's take a big breath up. Just draw in that kindness or even the energy that you might need and bring it right down into your heart. Another breath in, inhale, whatever you might need today. Is it strength? Is it patience? Bring it down into the heart. A few more of those breaths, all on your own. Just close your eyes. I hope for you today to walk a peaceful path, gently on the earth, full of kindness and compassion towards yourself and others. One more big breath up, hands come right down into our heart center. Thank you for coming. Namaste. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. It was so nice to be practicing again here in our new spot. Hi, Polly.